Starting strong at number 1 is NBA 2K25, the most comprehensive and technically advanced basketball simulation available on Steam right now, and the undisputed champion of the genre across every measurable category. The gameplay engine refines the already strong foundation of previous entries, with improved dribble mechanics, smarter defensive rotations, and more responsive physical contact between players near the basket. My Career Mode delivers an extended narrative following your custom player from college recruitment through NBA stardom, with cinematic presentation and branching story moments. My Team Card Collection Mode remains deeply engaging for competitive players who enjoy building optimized rosters through earned and purchased card packs. The visual quality on PC at high settings is exceptional, with player models and arena environments rendered at a level of detail that makes broadcast presentation genuinely convincing. Online multiplayer modes, including Pro-Am Team Play and Rec Center pickup games, provide hundreds of hours of competitive content beyond the single-player offerings available at launch. NBA 2K24 takes the second position, and while its successor has arrived, this entry remains a strong and fully supported basketball experience on Steam, with a healthy player base still active across its various online modes. The gameplay systems introduced here, including Pro Play technology translating real NBA footage directly into game animations, gave player movement an unprecedented level of authenticity that changed how the series looked and felt in motion. My Career Story Mode features a different narrative arc and cast of characters from 2K25, making it worth experiencing as a distinct story rather than a redundant one. The Mamba Moments mode, celebrating Kobe Bryant's career, offers unique challenge content with nostalgic appeal for longtime NBA fans. At its current discounted price point on Steam, it represents extraordinary value for the depth of content included. My Era mode, allowing you to take over historical NBA franchises and rewrite league history, is one of the most compelling features the franchise has introduced in recent memory. NBA Playgrounds 2 arrives at 3 as the best arcade basketball option currently available on Steam for players who want fast and fun 2-on-2 action without the complexity of simulation-focused titles. Exaggerated dunks, behind-the-back passes, and shot-blocking physics give the game an over-the-top energy that makes every possession exciting and unpredictable. The licensed NBA player roster spanning multiple eras gives character selection meaningful variety, with historical legends competing alongside current stars. Card pack progression unlocks new players and boosts, keeping the meta active for competitive online players who invest in the collection systems. Court environments are colorful and distinct, with outdoor playgrounds and stylized arenas creating visual variety across extended play sessions. Local multiplayer support makes it an excellent couch gaming option when friends are available for quick competitive sessions. On mid-range Steam hardware, the game runs smoothly at consistent frame rates throughout the most chaotic 4-player moments during exhibition matches. Basketball Arena Online enters at 4 as a free-to-play competitive basketball game on Steam that delivers accessible multiplayer action across a growing community of players competing in team-based online matches. The simplified control scheme makes it easy to pick up within minutes, while offering enough skill expression to keep experienced players engaged through the ranked ladder progression system. Customization options for player appearance and equipment give the game a personalization layer that encourages continued engagement through unlock progression. Regular updates from the development team have addressed balance issues and added new content since the game's initial release, making the current build significantly more polished than earlier versions. Server stability across most global regions keeps online matchmaking functional, with reasonable queue times for competitive matches. For Steam players looking for a zero-cost entry point into competitive basketball gaming, this represents the best currently available option within the platform's basketball category and has maintained a consistently active player population. Street Power Football claims 5 as a stylized street sports game that incorporates basketball-adjacent mechanics within a broader urban sports celebration, covering freestyle, shot mode, and team-based competition across colorful outdoor environments. The trick system rewards creative input combinations with spectacular visual payoff that captures the expressive energy of street basketball culture at its most entertaining. Licensed music and visual presentation give the game a genuine urban atmosphere that separates it from more conventional sports game aesthetics. Multiple game modes covering different street basketball formats provide variety across extended play sessions beyond the primary freestyle competition content. On lower Steam hardware configurations, the game runs comfortably, with the stylized art approach being computationally efficient relative to its visual appeal. Local multiplayer support is included, making it functional for competitive sessions with friends sharing the same PC. For players who love the aesthetic and culture around street basketball rather than pure simulation, this is a fun and well-presented option worth considering. Dunkers arrives at 6 as a wonderfully absurd physics-based two-player basketball game that delivers chaotic local multiplayer entertainment through hilariously unreliable character movement and exaggerated collision physics. Two players control ragdoll athletes competing to dunk a ball through the opposing basket across a single-screen arena where momentum and physics create constant, unpredictable outcomes. Controls are deliberately simple, with the absurdity coming from how character bodies respond to movement inputs rather than complex button sequences. The presentation is minimal, but charming, with a clean visual style that communicates the action clearly despite the constant physical chaos occurring on screen. On any Steam hardware configuration, the game runs flawlessly, with essentially no system requirements beyond basic display output capability. It is best experienced as a party game, generating genuine laughter from the unpredictable physical interactions that make every point a memorable moment. Short sessions keep the energy high and competitive, without the investment required by more complex sports game experiences available on the platform. Ultimate Basketball Manager 2024 takes it as a dedicated basketball management simulation that puts you in the role of head coach and general manager, building a team from contract negotiations and draft selections through championship contention across multiple seasons. The depth of statistical analysis tools available makes roster construction a genuinely engaging puzzle, with meaningful trade-offs between salary cap management and competitive performance optimization. Scouting systems identify prospect talent through attribute ratings and potential projections that require experienced interpretation to exploit effectively in draft situations. Matchday tactical decisions covering defensive schemes, rotation management, and in-game adjustments influence results in ways that statistical roster quality alone cannot guarantee. On any Steam PC hardware, the game runs effortlessly given its management-focused interface that places no graphical demands on the host system. The depth of basketball knowledge embedded in the simulation systems rewards players with genuine sport understanding, a satisfying and deep management experience for fans who love the strategic off-court aspects of basketball competition, above direct gameplay control. Basketbros enters at 8 as a browser game-style accessible basketball title that transitioned to Steam with its fun and immediately playable arcade-focused basketball action intact for the platform audience. The character roster features exaggerated and stylized athletes with unique visual identities that give the game personality beyond generic sports game presentation. Gameplay is fast and designed for quick competitive sessions, making it ideal for short play windows between other activities in a daily gaming schedule. The simplicity of the control scheme means new players can compete meaningfully within their very first session without requiring any learning curve investment. Local and online multiplayer modes accommodate different social gaming preferences across the player base. On any Steam hardware, the game runs perfectly with no meaningful system requirements. While lacking the depth of simulation competitors, it fills a specific niche of genuinely fun and accessible basketball gaming that delivers consistent entertainment value, especially when enjoyed with friends in competitive head-to-head sessions where laughter and close results combine effectively. Pro Basketball Manager 2024 arrives at 9 as a European basketball-focused management simulation that extends beyond the NBA to cover leagues across multiple continents, giving the game scope that NBA-focused competitors cannot match. Managing player contracts, training schedules, medical staff, and arena facilities creates a comprehensive executive experience that rewards systematic long-term planning over reactive short-term decision-making. The scouting network spanning international leagues allows discovery of undervalued talent that can be developed and integrated into competitive rosters at cost-efficient salary levels. Match simulation delivers tactical depth through formation and scheme adjustments that directly influence statistical outcomes in statistically modeled game results. On Steam, the game requires minimal hardware and runs cleanly on any configuration currently in widespread consumer use. The international scope gives it particular appeal for basketball fans outside North America who want to manage clubs from their home countries and leagues. Regular database updates keep player ratings current across the multiple supported leagues throughout the active competitive season. Dunk City Dynasty claims 10 as a free-to-play basketball game on Steam with strong visual presentation and a focus on stylish basketball action inspired by the high-flying NBA of the modern era. Player animations capture the athleticism and flair of contemporary professional basketball with signature dunks and celebration sequences, delivering satisfying visual payoff during scoring plays. Team-building mechanics use a roster card system that allows progressive improvement through play session rewards and optional purchase pathways. Online team versus team modes create competitive community engagement beyond isolated solo play sessions. The game runs smoothly on mid-range Steam hardware, with the visual quality being impressive relative to the zero entry cost required to start playing. Regular content updates introduce new players, courts, and seasonal events that keep the experience fresh across extended engagement periods. For Steam players wanting a visually polished, free basketball experience with competitive online modes, this is a strong starting point that delivers genuine quality without requiring any financial commitment at the point of access. Basketball Grand Slam enters at 11 as an arcade sports title that blends basketball fundamentals with power-up systems and special ability mechanics that elevate the action beyond conventional sports game conventions. Matches are fast and scoring-heavy, with the power-up timing layer adding strategic depth to what might otherwise be straightforward arcade competition. Character designs are bold and distinctive, with each athlete having visual personality that makes the roster memorable across extended play sessions. Tournament mode provides a structured single-player challenge path through increasingly skilled opponents, with satisfying progression rewards between stages. Online leaderboards track performance metrics that competitive players can use to benchmark their improvement over time. On Steam hardware, the game runs efficiently, with minimal system requirements given its stylized visual approach. Local multiplayer is well supported, making it a solid choice for competitive couch gaming sessions. The game occupies a comfortable middle ground between pure simulation and complete arcade abstraction, delivering entertaining basketball action without demanding either deep sports knowledge or extensive learning curve investment from new players. Freestyle 2 Street Basketball takes position 12 as an online multiplayer street basketball game with deep customization and a style-focused gameplay system that rewards creative play and personal expression over pure efficiency. The street basketball culture aesthetic permeates every aspect of presentation, from court designs and character fashion to animation style and musical accompaniment during matches. Skill challenges and tutorial systems teach advanced mechanics that experienced players use to separate themselves from newcomers in competitive matchmaking environments. The cosmetic progression system provides consistent reward loops for regular play sessions without necessarily impacting competitive balance between players of different progression levels. Performance on Steam varies by hardware configuration, with mid-range systems delivering smooth frame rates across standard 5-on-5 match formats. The online community maintains activity across multiple competitive modes, including ranked team play and individual showcase events. For players who love street basketball culture and want a game that celebrates that identity, this is one of the most authentic and committed implementations available on the Steam platform currently. Hoops arrives at 13 as a minimalist basketball game that distills the shooting mechanic to its purest form with a physics-based arc system that challenges players to re-trajectory and adjust release timing across a variety of challenging shot scenarios. The level design introduces increasingly complex obstacles and distance challenges that keep the difficulty curve engaging across extended progression through the game's content library. The clean visual presentation with simple geometric court designs communicates all necessary gameplay information without visual clutter that might have scared the precise trajectory the game demands. Achievement challenges provide additional goals for completion-focused players who want structured targets beyond casual free play sessions. On any Steam hardware configuration, the game runs with essentially no system requirements, making it accessible on the oldest functional PC hardware available to budget-conscious players. The focus on a single refined mechanic rather than comprehensive basketball simulation gives it a meditative quality that casual players particularly appreciate during shorter play sessions, integrated into varied daily gaming schedules. Backyard Basketball enters at 14 as a nostalgic classic basketball game now available through Steam that captures the casual and fun spirit of playground basketball in an accessible and entertaining package with familiar neighborhood characters. The simplified rules and exaggerated player abilities create a welcoming experience that prioritizes fun and accessibility over simulation accuracy in every design decision. Iconic characters from the original release generate strong nostalgia for players who grew up with the franchise, while remaining approachable for newcomers encountering the series for the first time through this digital release. Gameplay is quick and session-friendly, making it ideal for shorter play windows without requiring the extended commitment demanded by simulation competitors on the platform. On Steam, the game runs on essentially any hardware configuration, given its age and modest technical requirements. The humor and personality embedded in character design and commentary give it lasting charm that separates it from more clinical sports game competitors. A feel-good basketball game experience that delivers reliable entertainment through its consistently playful and lighthearted approach to the sport it celebrates throughout every mode available. Ballers claims 15 as a stylish 3-on-3 basketball game built around expressive street culture with a focus on individual skill moves and team chemistry that creates a satisfying competitive multiplayer experience on Steam. The trick and dribble system rewards practiced input timing with spectacular animations that make individual moments of skill feel genuinely rewarding during competitive play. Team coordination mechanics incentivize passing and movement over pure one-on-one isolation play, creating a team basketball philosophy that distinguishes it from pure individual skill showcases. Court variety covers different urban environments with distinct visual identities that keep the visual experience fresh across multiple sessions in sequence. Online matchmaking connects players across skill levels with a ranking system that gradually pairs competitors of similar ability as your match history accumulates. On mid-range Steam hardware, the game runs at consistent frame rates throughout fast-paced competitive matches. The cultural authenticity of the presentation gives it genuine personality that fans of street basketball aesthetics will immediately appreciate and find compelling across extended periods of regular engagement. HoopStar arrives at 16 as a basketball RPG hybrid that blends sports game mechanics with character progression systems typically found in action role-playing games, creating a uniquely compelling combination for players who enjoy both genres simultaneously. Your created athlete gains experience and levels up across categories of speed, shooting, handling, and defense that translate directly to improved in-game performance during matches against progressively skilled opponents. Story mode follows your player's journey from street courts through professional competition, with narrative events and character relationships providing context beyond pure sport progression. The blend of RPG depth with basketball action creates a game that rewards regular session investment in ways conventional sports games typically cannot sustain across long periods of ownership. On Steam hardware, the game runs well across mid-range configurations, with the visual style being attractive without demanding high-end processing capability. The genre fusion concept is executed with enough quality that neither the RPG nor the sports components feel compromised by the combination, making this one of the most creatively interesting basketball games currently available on the Steam platform. Pixel Sports Basketball Takes 17 is a retro-styled basketball game that delivers genuine depth beneath its deliberately nostalgic 8-bit visual presentation, with statistical simulation and tactical customization options that surpass what the visual style initially suggests. Team management between matches covers training allocation, play scheme selection, and lineup decisions that influence statistical output during simulated game results. The pixel art presentation runs flawlessly on any Steam hardware configuration without any performance considerations, regardless of how old or underpowered the host system might be. Multiple league structures and tournament formats provide organized competitive progression for solo players working through the career mode content. Online leaderboards track win-loss records and statistical achievements across the player community. The retro aesthetic appeals strongly to players who grew up with classic sports games, while the underlying simulation depth provides substance that pure nostalgia titles often lack. A quietly impressive basketball game that rewards players who look beyond the visual presentation to engage with the well-constructed systems operating beneath the surface throughout the full career mode experience. Campus Basketball Manager claims 19 as a college basketball management simulation that focuses on the unique challenges of the NCAA environment, including recruitment of high school prospects, academic eligibility management, and conference tournament competition across multiple coach seasons. Recruiting is the most distinctive system, with visits, scholarship offers, and relationship development with prospect families, all influencing which talented players choose to enroll in your program over competing schools offering similar opportunities. Academic performance monitoring adds a management layer absent from professional basketball simulations, making this field distinctly different from NBA-focused competitors. Conference standings and national tournament bracket advancement provide structured seasonal goals that give long-term campaigns clear milestones to target across multiple coach tiers. On Steam hardware, the game runs with no meaningful system requirements, given its interface-based management structure. The college basketball focus gives it specific appeal for American basketball fans who follow the NCAA circuit with the same passion they bring to professional league coverage and analysis throughout each competitive season. Court Kings arise at 20 as a basketball card game that combines deck-building strategy with basketball simulation mechanics, creating a genre hybrid that appeals simultaneously to sports fans and card game enthusiasts looking for fresh competitive experiences. Deck construction using player cards with distinct statistical profiles and special abilities creates meaningful strategic decision-making before matches even begin, during the team assembly phase. Match simulation resolves card interactions through statistical modeling that respects the relative quality of assembled rosters, while introducing enough variance to keep outcomes exciting throughout. Online competitive modes pit deck builders against each other in ranked ladder play with seasonal rewards for top-performing players. Card acquisition through play rewards and optional purchase pathways provides progressive improvement goals across extended platform engagement periods. On any Steam hardware, the interface-based nature of the game ensures perfect performance regardless of system capability. The fusion of basketball knowledge and card game strategy creates a compelling niche experience that regular players of both genres will find rewarding and distinctly different from conventional basketball game offerings currently available across the broader Steam library. Basketball Life 3D claims 22 as a life simulation game built around basketball culture, where you develop your athlete from a raw newcomer through organized training, street games, and eventually professional competition across a structured career arc. Daily routine management, covering training sessions, rest cycles, diet, and social relationships, influences athlete development in ways that reflect real-world athlete lifestyle management philosophies. The three-dimensional court action during practice and match sequences gives the game visual presence beyond pure management interface interaction throughout the career experience. Skill development follows a realistic improvement curve that rewards consistent training investment rather than instant progression shortcuts. On mid-range Steam hardware, the game performs acceptably, with the three-dimensional environments running smoothly during match and training sequences. The blend of life simulation depth with basketball progression gives it appeal for players who enjoyed the behind-the-scenes story of athletic development as much as the sport itself. A unique angle on basketball gaming that fills a specific creative niche not occupied by pure simulation or arcade competitors currently available across the Steam platform library. Rhyme 9000 arrives at 23 as an unconventional arcade sports game that blends basketball-inspired scoring mechanics with retro shoot-'em-up action in a maximalist audio-visual experience that defies easy genre categorization. You pilot a spacecraft, scoring points through goal-scoring runs while navigating enemy fire and obstacles in a combination that sounds impossible but plays with surprising coherence and addictive rhythm. The soundtrack and visual presentation are extraordinary, with a relentless audio-visual assault that rewards focused attention and quick reflexes across increasingly difficult stage progressions. High score chasing provides a natural long-term goal structure for players who enjoy optimizing performance through repeated attempts at familiar content layouts. On any Steam hardware, the game runs flawlessly, with minimal system requirements given its retro visual approach. While not a conventional basketball game, the core scoring philosophy and competitive structure connect it meaningfully to the genre's appeal for players who enjoy fast-scoring action and competitive score comparison. an eccentric but genuinely entertaining entry that expands the definition of what a basketball-adjacent game can offer within the Steam library available today. One Step from Eden takes 24 as a fast-paced roguelite with strategic card-based mechanics set in a science fiction world that draws clear inspiration from grid-based action games while incorporating basketball-style spatial positioning and zone control throughout its combat philosophy. Real-time grid combat requires reading opponent movement patterns and positioning your character to maximize spell card effectiveness during fast and demanding battles. Deck construction between stages allows progressive build refinement that rewards understanding of card synergy and strategic prioritization of available options during shop and reward phases. Multiple characters with distinct starting decks and playstyles provide substantial replay variety across the full roster of playable options. On any Steam hardware, the game runs perfectly with minimal system requirements, despite the visual complexity of multi-effect spell animations occurring simultaneously during intense combat sequences. The spatial reasoning and zone control philosophy connects it meaningfully to basketball-adjacent thinking about court positioning and shot selection that sports game fans will recognize in the underlying design language throughout its uniquely constructed and replayable competitive challenge structure.
Windjammers 2 closes the list at 25 as a disc-throwing sports game with movement patterns and competitive positioning logic that mirrors basketball's spatial awareness demands within a fast-paced, one-on-one competitive framework. Players compete to throw a flying disc into the opposing goal zone using trajectory, spin, and bounce mechanics that create deeply readable yet endlessly variable competitive exchanges during matches. The character roster offers distinct throw speeds and movement capabilities that create meaningful matchup considerations during character selection and competitive play. Online ranked multiplayer maintains an active community that provides competitive challenge across skill levels, with matchmaking that gradually connects players of similar ability. On any Steam hardware, the game runs flawlessly, with excellent online netcode maintaining smooth performance even during high input speed competitive exchanges between distant server locations. A celebrated competitive sports game that rewards spatial intelligence and reaction training in ways basketball fans will find familiar and satisfying, as a complement to more conventional basketball game experiences across their complete Steam sports game collection.